The new report indicating that ICE now plans to spend $20 million to arm agents with gloves that give electric shocks. And tonight here, the new confrontation now under the microscope, an ICE agent seen with this weapon confronting a mother in her car. Here's Jay O'Brien.
With ICE tactics already facing fierce scrutiny, tonight the Department of Homeland Security is planning to spend up to $20 million on specialized gloves agents can use to incapacitate someone with an electric shock simply by touching them. DHS describing them as de-escalation devices, saying their officers are trained in use of force.
Give me your hands, give me your hands.
The technology called the G.L.O.V.E, or Generated Low Output Voltage Emitter, seen here in a demo from the manufacturer.
You ready? Here you go.
In a manual, the company Compliant Technologies recommends avoiding use on the elderly, small children, pregnant women, and the severely handicapped. This comes as another ICE confrontation is under the microscope. Virginia mother Carolina Molina says an ICE agent seen here brandished his gun after she shouted at federal agents detaining people.
The one that tried to run us over.
The agents accuse her of trying to run them over, which Molina says this dash cam video shows is false.
When I saw him pull in front of me and take the gun out, because as he's walking up, the gun is already out, and then he starts pointing it at me.
David, in a statement tonight, the Department of Homeland Security again accused Molina of trying to harm agents with her car during an operation, which she strongly denies. Molina could face, the department says, criminal charges, although they didn't specify for what, David.
Jay O'Brien live in Washington. Jay, thank you.
I screamed like a little girl and pee myself. Go back with the glove.
Hide your hands. Go give him your hands.
We're trying to get his hands out.
Stop resisting.
Resist. Put your hands out. Oh, thank you. Damn, you turned red.
We're going to drive you crazy. We're going to do things that is shocking.
At this point, nothing would shock me. Shock gloves with lethal capacity have been purchased for ICE officers, ingeniously named the G.L.O.V.E. by Compliant Technologies, which markets the G.L.O.V.E. as humane and de-escalatory, and its sketch-ass website claims no injuries from the product have ever been documented. They must have left out the pending wrongful death lawsuit of Jonathan Mansfield, a Madison County detainee who suffered cardiac arrest after being shocked 27 times with the gloves. And despite Compliant Technologies' baseless claims of benignity, their own user manual even admits that the gloves may contribute to, quote, sudden death. So naturally, DHS sought out a no-bid contract with them and dropped a $20 million bag.
More money, and you're going out and you're buying the best equipment you can buy.
If buying the best means overpaying for what is essentially a 3.7-volt lithium-ion battery jumped up by a high-voltage module strapped to a glove, it's almost like anyone could make their own in a cave with a box of scraps. It begs the question, what is the upside? Well, unlike tasers, there's no skin breakage, essentially making this a device that's triggered instantly and invisibly, leaving behind no evidence of its presence. Other than its built-in memory, which records usage, but it's not like that's ever going to see the light of day, especially given DHS's recent reversal in body cam policy stating that videos would only be released if they were in, quote, the agency's best interest, So glad we got those cameras, right? This potentially deadly weapon is perfect if your paramilitary force is being harangued by pesky things like excessive use of force and human rights violations in detention centers. Oh, speaking of which,
I think they serve a better purpose in detention facilities.
Of course you do, Tom. It's certainly not like ICE has overseen dozens of cardiac-related deaths in detention centers, so I'm sure we can expect the number of cardiac-related deaths to go down now that most of the agency's officers will be equipped by March. So now might be a good time for a little transparency. The gloves prey on the neuroperipheral interference. shocking the skin's sensory nerves and temporarily short-circuiting the brain's focus, i.e. it must come into contact with bare skin, which is why the manual trains operators to target arms, so long sleeves help. But why stop there, when you can encase your entire arm in insulating and impact-resistant polycarbonate? The manual also warns against water, specifically salty water, so let's hope those pigs aren't sweating in their black gloves. Should have gone with white. But don't worry, the manual also insists that the technology must not be used to counter verbal defiance as punishment or torture, which unfortunately ICE has previously hit the trifecta in. So, let's hope they change their ways.
Are you going to change your ways? I don't think so.
Shalom. We'll start this off by giving all the praise and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Wahakak Wadash. Double honor, salutations, peace, and blessings to you, like men of Israel. Starting with the elder apostles, the elder bishops of the Great Millstone Church, on down to the rest of you brothers and the brothers I labor with, who all push forth the doctrine of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai in all faith, truth, and sincerity, according to the true understanding of the scriptures. To all of you, I say shalom. So, I'm going to start this lesson off with 2 Esdras 15 and verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." Right? It says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." Right? And in this the beginning of this lesson, I played two clips. I'm going on to talk about this specific the device that Esau Edom has come out with, and ultimately it's another tool that they're using to continue to destroy our people, right? The destruction of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, right? You know, they're saying that they're looking to implement it with ICE, but if law enforcement, right, local, and state, if local and state companies that work with law enforcement and such are now being used for ICE, how much more, or what's to say basically that they won't be using those things outside of just, you know, their ICE activities, basically, you know, where they're looking to try to get, if you will, Northern Kingdom Jakes, right? So-called Mexicans, right, and other people of the Latin tribes, right? But simply, it's clear to see that, you know, they implemented it at one place, knowing this devil and how he operates, and this devil being the so-called white man, right? Knowing how this man operates, of course he gonna forward the affliction to a far greater level. So it ain't gonna just be with ICE, you know? Because again, law enforcement and other companies are working with ICE, right? So if they're all working together, they all gonna be using the same tools. Who's to say that they not gonna pull that out on somebody else outside of it just being simply, the so-called Latin tribes, right? Being ultimately these Israelites, right? And again, the sword isn't just a physical sword, right? It's a killing instrument. So though they go on to speak in a certain way, trying to portray it as if it's going to be used one way, that's all still lies and deceit. And they lying to continue to keep bringing forth more violence. So that's a part of the sword in itself, right? So this is what you're going to start seeing, you know? And not to, not to take away from the fact that simply Esau, Edom is the Lord's sword, right? It says here, Psalm 17:13, it says, "Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword." And the wicked is Esau, Edom, starting with the wicked elite on the top, right? That's pulling the strings, starting off on all these different projects that they implementing to continue our people's destruction. These aren't things to be neglectful of, nor to ignore. Just because mugs still have moments and opportunities to be able to still indulge in folly, right? Trying to have fun, which is foolishness, right? Just because they still have the opportunity to be able to do so doesn't take away from what is, right? What the reality is. You might have a moment to be able to, go out and, act like everything is bliss, but that's ignorance. Just like Cypher said in the Matrix, ignorance is bliss. And that ignorance is what's going to be people's demise, especially those of our people, because our people continue to be in a Stockholm mentality to where they cleaving onto the oppressor. Whole time the oppressor is doing everything that they can to try to destroy you. You dye your hair blonde, ain't gonna change who you are to them, right? You trying to change how you talk and change how you act and change how you dress, ain't gonna change who you are to them. It ain't gonna change who the Lord made them to be or who the Lord made you to be. And it ain't gonna change what the Lord has set in stone for them to do. And what he got set in stone for Yahweh to do. This man is the sword, and he was made to be the sword. It's a part of his blessing. By the sword shall he live. So he's bringing him himself, right, is that sword, and he's bringing a whole lot of destruction with all the different tools that he devises, and they gonna constantly keep using all these different things to hunt us. So it takes me to my next verse, right? This is Lamentation 4 and verse 18. They hunt our steps that we cannot go on our streets. Our end is near and our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness. You see? And this man, right, has erected the eagle to be they symbol in this place, But they go on to hunt us in all the different ways that they could try to hunt us, right? And it further talks about that in Psalms 10, right? Psalms 10 and verse 8, it says, "He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent," right? And one thing they was talking about is basically them having these gloves makes things untraceable, right? And they already are showing how they have all these different instances of cardiac, deaths, right? Things basically targeting the hearts in these concentration camps. So how much more with these just on the streets, which is by the Spirit, because this further brings in what's being said in this 2 Ezra 15, right? I'm gonna read this real quick and then jump back to that Psalms 10, but it says what? It says for verse 16, right? It says, "For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power." It says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right? It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Right? This is gonna continue to escalate in regards to how this plays out. You know, there's a slew of different scenarios of how this could play out, but this is definitely one of them. Right? Due the pride of Esau, and really the pride of Jake too, right? Them being proud in two completely different ways, but still working hand in hand, it's gonna have y'all get jacked up, and it's gonna have them continuing to play out themselves, being the wicked and being this damn devil. You know, showing forth their hand to be the evil one that's been destroying our people, you know, this entire time, lying to the whole world this entire time, making these covenants and burning and burning all the bridges this entire time. You know, this is gonna allow more things to ramp up to where the Lord could show his power at the right time and the right moment. You know, to where everybody's gonna see they were wrong for cleaving on to this creature over the Creator, and giving into ungodliness and choosing to live in ungodliness, choosing to deny the truth. You know, this is exactly what's needed. But those of you that's of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, take heed to this. You know, be cautious and be aware, because these are different tools that they are going to use to try to continue to come down upon us. You know, and that's in the position right now, as you see, you know, with ICE working with local or state law enforcement, you know. So they sit, you know, behind bridges and waiting for cars to come by. They sit in empty plazas. They sit in the dark. They sit, you know what I'm saying, in the hidden places. You know, as it says, right? Reading it again, Psalms 10:8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. It says, in the secret places doth he murder the innocent. Right? They don't go on to talk about openly, you know, all these different deaths that's going on in these concentration camps that they got, you know, Northern Kingdom in. They just keep doing it and brushing it under the rug. You know, more and more of their actions are starting to play out to where they being more open with their wickedness, showing their hand and showing that they don't give a fuck. You know, those things got to come to pass for our people to truly wake the fuck up and realize this is not your rest. This is not your this is not your humble abode. This place is polluted because it's desperately wicked. It's looking to destroy you, and it will destroy you if you continue to keep trying to invest yourself in and integrate yourself into it. You know, we use the word, but we don't abuse it. Right? It says he lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. You see? It says he croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. And that's how it says. That's why it says in Sirach 12 to never trust thine enemy. You know, because though he may try to come off humble and try to come off peaceful, which is what he does when he tries to come with soft words and trying to point the finger at somebody else and saying, "Hey man, I'm just an innocent guy." Whole time got a knife behind his back, looking for the right moment for you to turn around just so he can get you and yours. You know. It says, he hath said in his heart, God hath forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. Right? This is his mind. This is him being in his pride. But never forget, the scriptures say pride goes before destruction. You know? This man, he already understands starting from the top of the wicked. They understand that they world's coming to an end and they're on their way out. And they doing everything that they can to try to bring down as many people as possible with them, right? if they can try to prevent it, they gonna do it, you know, because their hearts are deep like that. So they are looking for all the ways that they could try to prevent the end, because they not cursed, you know. They have the history, so they understand who we are. That's why they continue to try to deny who we are, and not let it be known who the true Israelites are. So with that being the case, right, them trying to prevent everybody knowing who we are and the importance of who we are in our role, it allows them to continue to stay on top and continue to ultimately destroy the world, destroy the earth. You know, world being this system, and everybody a part of it, including the world. Including the earth. You know? The trees, the land is crying out, it's pleading. The people, they mourn because the wicked are ruling right now. Nobody understands and recognizes the fact that through the Israelites is how peace is able to come upon earth. Righteousness could come upon earth. Due to this man and his deception, right? His witchcraft. You know? And a part of that is, again, him using his tongue to deceive the masses. So he's getting everybody riled up and ramped up, thinking that he making America great again, which for them is having us in complete utter slavery, and that's his goal. But the Most High and His only begotten Son Yahweh Shai, they're not gonna let that happen. So we gotta stay out the way. We gotta be cautious and stay aware of these things. You know, as the scriptures say, be wise as a serpent or harmless as a dove. Right. So we pay attention to how this man operates and move around accordingly. You know, continue to keep ourselves within the scriptures so that way we are able to measure the time diligently, profess His word to Israel, and seal the elect. And Lord willing, we be of that number. You know. So we watch these things and pay attention to these things and move in a way to where these things don't touch us. That way we can continue to operate and move in a way to where we can obtain and receive it as salvation. So we can't be ignorant of Satan's devices, you know, this damn devil and his wicked devices. We got to continue to profess this word. I believe, therefore have I spoken. So speak, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet. You know, bring forth this word in its true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which is according to the authority and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, in the name of Yahweh Shai, right, who the world calls Jesus Christ. So that's pretty much it. You know, I just wanted to bring out some scriptures, and basically, keep an update, to those that may have not seen this, just for you to know and see. This is something that they continue to ramp things up. The Lord's word is manifesting, what He says is. So just as He goes on to write about these different woes and terrible things that's going to happen, right after that, the world of Jacob is to come. And I'll end it there. Second address 6 and 9, it says what? For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right? And in the 8th chapter it says what? Verse 3. Or really, I'll start at 1 and jump to 3. It says, He answered me, saying, right, the Most High hath made this world for many, but the world to come for few. Right? And verse 3 says, there be many created, but few shall be saved. So We looking to be of that number of the few that's saved, right? Those that were on were on that straight and narrow, right? That built their house upon the rock. So when the floods, the rain, the wind blew, right, which is all these different things that the Esau gonna throw at us, right? We not moved because we've been founded on the Most High and His only begotten Son Yahushua. So I end it here. Start right 2 and 2. Or I'm gonna start at 1. It says, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, right, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure. Make not haste in time of trouble." Right? "Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end." You see? And we looking to get that increase. So stay up, be cautious, be aware, and keep yourself in good position. Right? The Lord, He give us the words to be able to apply to ourselves, to be able to stay in good standing. Keep our head, keep our house in order. Keep our head on the swivel, if you will. So that's it. Lord, and this has been edifying. With that, I'm going to give honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Wahawah Kakwadash. Till next time, Shalom.